Good morning, students. Today, your English class is going to be fun class. We are going to start with your textbook. You all want to have a look at your textbook? Yes, it's here. It is NCRT's Honeycomb. And we are going to start with poem 1, The Squirrel. And before going into the poem, let us first discuss about a squirrel. I'm sure you all have seen a squirrel running here and there, all over the tree, in your balcony. Here is a picture of a squirrel. You can see how lovely and beautiful it looks. It is a rodent, very playful and naughty, cute, furry, and it has a bushy tail. You all have tried to play with a squirrel and maybe sometime try to catch it too. So now let us enjoy reciting the poem The Squirrel by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play, and if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. Now come on, students, let us recite once again and enjoy. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. And if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. Now let us first discuss about the aim of the poem. The aim of the poem is to instill amongst the student the aesthetic sense, to develop the habit of enjoy poetry and rhyme, to encourage students to have a love for nature and to know about the figure of speech used in the poem. Now I will explain the poem line wise. The first line, he wore a question mark for tail. The first thing the poet notices about the squirrel is his tail, the shape of his tail. It is like a question mark. If you see carefully, you will notice that the shape of the tail is like a question mark. Hence, the poet is relating the tail with a question mark. An overcoat of grey. This line tells us about the body of the squirrel. It is greyish in color, hence it looks like a coat. So the poet is saying that the squirrel is wearing a grey colored coat. He sat up straight to eat a nut. This line refers to the sitting posture of the squirrel. The squirrel is sitting straight, eating nuts. Now, all of you know that the squirrel loves to eat nuts. It is one of the characteristic of a squirrel that whenever it eats, it sits straight. Else, the squirrel usually sits and runs with a bended back. Now come to the next line. He liked to tease and play. Now, what does the squirrel loves to do? Yes, it loves to tease and play. Here you have to remember that the word he refers to the squirrel. And if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. You have noticed that whenever you go near the squirrel or run behind him to play or maybe to catch it, it quickly runs away. Same is the case with the poet here. Whenever he, along with his friends, go near the squirrel to play, the squirrel runs away. He runs the other way. In these lines, the pronoun we refers to the poet and his friends. I think, student, it was quite easy and a very simple poem. Now, quickly, I will summarize the poem for you. In the poem, The Squirrel, the poet Mildred Bowers Armstrong describes a squirrel that he observes in his garden. The poet describes how the squirrel, covered in gray fur, sits in an upright position on a tree branch, eating a nut. His tail looks like a question mark because of its bent shape. The happy and the lively squirrel loves to play with the poet and his friends. Whenever they ran around his tree, he would run the other side of the tree. The poet tells us about the nature of the squirrel, that it is innocently naughty and likes to tease everyone who comes near him. Dear students, I have uploaded the notes for your reference. So kindly refer the notes, enjoy the poem. Until then, happy learning. Thank you.